Hello, guys, and welcome to the show this afternoon. Listen, let's take a closer look at Brexit and see what's going on with the situation right now. I'll tell you what's going on with there's a lot going on with the yellow vests. One of the things I wanted to say about that is if they wanted to really do a run on the banks, they shouldn't have told the bankers first, because the bankers would rush liquidity into those particular banks that the people are going to withdraw from. They should have surprised, and took their money out without the bankers knowing that they were coming first. Because the bankers probably moved tremendous amounts of liquidity in to support those particular banks. But let's move on and talk about Brexit. And let's get the charts open right here, and let's take a look at these Brexit stories, Let's head up on the list right here, and I'll take a look at what's going on. We open the chart up just a little bit here. Now, look at this. The Washington Post says, they say, Brexit shows how direct democracy can be dangerous. So, according to the Washington Post, democracy is a dangerous thing. I guess if it's a dangerous thing, we should get rid of democracy, according to them. What are we going to replace it with? Non-democracy, something that's no democracy anymore, guys. None of that anymore, because the Washington Post says democracy is dangerous. Let's see what else is going on here with this. Brexit, disaster looms. Can MPs unite quickly enough to save us? How are they going to save us? Vote for Theresa May's deal? Minister's grave warning as polls show more Tory voters now support PM's deal with Brussels. The United Kingdom has a right to stop Article 50 process, and the route to a final say is clearer than ever. Claude Van Juncker, rules out giving May anything more than clarifications over the Brexit deal. So they're sticking to their guns, the European Union. No deal. How did we get here? So they're wondering how they got here with no deal. Brexit vote next week amid global growth concerns. So they're going to vote next week, see? Brits to vote again. Brexit delay creates headaches for Europe. EU is working with Theresa May to offer last-ditch concessions on Brexit deal, claims Jean-Claude Van Juncker. Greek tactics deployed in Parliament's Brexit battle. Says if Theresa May's Brexit deal doesn't pass the Commons, Brexit will only be weakened. Now that goes in line with what this MP Jeremy Hunt is saying. He's saying that they do have the power to stop a no-deal Brexit. So basically what he's saying is if Parliament doesn't vote for Theresa May's deal, her very, 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 very bad deal, then the MPs have the power to stop the no-deal Brexit. That's what Jeremy Hunt is saying. And of course, you have to understand something about all this. What we have is, this is creating a divided country, and the reason why is because more than 50% of the people voted for a Brexit, okay? And almost 50% of the people voted for no Brexit. When you get a situation like this, when you get 50% of the population wants something, and the other 50% of the population wants something else, feuds were started in the mountains. They used to have the Hatfields and the McCoys, good old mountain boys, and they used to have a feud, and they would be firing musket balls across the hillbilly, across the holler, and they'd be fighting for years, and because there's probably 10 McCoys and 10 Hatfields. But if you only had one McCoy and you had 10 Hatfields, then it wouldn't last very long. You got to have a 50-50 to have a battle. You got to have two sides. And we got a battle going on here because it's about 50, it's divided about 50-50. You know, and so you got to take that into consideration that if they try to pull something, like if these MPs try to stop a Brexit, try to stop the Brexit, there could be consequences to pay from the 50% of the British population that voted for this. They voted for a Brexit, and if they come in, these bureaucrats come in and try to stop it, there could be huge consequences to pay. You have to take that into consideration. Now it says 4,000 civil servants shift focus to a no-deal Brexit. Now this is him saying it again, this Jeremy Hunt. He's saying that Brexit might not happen if May's deal is defeated. A British minister says. It must be him saying that again. Now, here's him saying it again. He's saying on Reuters, it says UK risks Brexit paralysis and possibly no Brexit at all, says foreign minister. So he's in there talking to the press a lot, isn't he? Putting his 2 cents in there. It says FTSE, the FTSE, FTSE 100 retreats as sterling rallies on report of possible Brexit delay. Possible Brexit delay. Like I say, there's a huge problem with a delay like that, or canceling it outright. Canceling the Brexit outright is you're going to infuriate half of the population of Britain. That's the problem. Okay, so now let's take a look at says Juncker makes late bid to avert a no-deal Brexit. Let's take a look at this story right here from the Express. It says EU plot. Claude Von Juncker, you know, one of the unelected bureaucrats. I don't know if he was unelected or not, but most of them are unelected anyway. They're appointed, I guess. Wants Theresa May's Brexit deal to fail for this shocking reason. It says the European Union could be behind a cunning plan to force a remainder takeover in an effort to thwart Brexit. So they're thinking that the Remainers, the people that voted against leaving the European Union, are going to take over the country. But aren't they forgetting that they represented only about 47 or 46% of the population? What about all those other people? Are they just going to stand there and say, okay, let the Remainers take over the country? It says the Tory backbencher warned that the European Union may want Prime Minister Theresa May's deal to fail in order to create a complete panic across Britain. Mr. Drax said. Machiavellian, he says. He calls it Machiavellian, he says, I would say. I dread to think what goes on behind this glass door and on that 10th glass of Chablis. You know, how do we keep the United Kingdom in this dreadful situation? I tell you what we'll do. This is a cunning plan. Let her give something that the MPs will never accept. In other words, they'll never accept that stupid deal. And they will turn it down. And then all of the Remainers will take over. Yeah, but the Remainers are going to be up against, if they're trying to take over, they're going to be up against the people who want a Brexit deal and who voted for it. This could turn, it says there will be a complete panic, and they will all come crying back to us, saying, oh, please take us back into the European Union. Huh, what do you think of that? I think that sounds like it actually could be viable, that could be what's actually happening, is the EU wants to punish Britain, and so that nobody else will try this. You know, nobody else will have a referendum and vote to leave the European Union, because we will punish Great Britain for doing this. And I think that, but it says, as Churchill found in the war, the British people got him through that, and at the early stages, many of these politicians were not with him. They were very happy to surrender to Germany and appease him. He stood alone, and it's the British people that said, Churchill, we are for fighting, and we do not want to give in. You know, that's what it says there. It says he admits it right here. He says, and again, I feel the British people are behind us. The MPs may not be, but the people are, and at the end of the day, they are our masters. Oh boy, did he ever say a mouthful, because that's very true. Ultimately, the politicians are going to have to learn in this world that they think they're the masters. They go out there and most of them are academics. They go through school practically forever, and they learn skills of psychiatry and everything else, where they're able to use behavioral control techniques on people, and they learn the law and everything else, and finally they make their way through 30 or 40 years of school, and then they by that time they're big and fat, and they go out there and they campaign, and they get funded by corporations and stuff, you know, and they finally get elected into office by taking all kinds of bribes and everything else. They're a bunch of fat little lawyer crooks is what they are, you know, and then they think that they can just make any law they want to make, and we have to obey it. Obey, obey, obey. I'm going to tell you what, the people really have the power. The people just don't know they have the power, and when the people finally figure out that they have the power, then the politicians go scurrying, and I'm using that to apply to a rat. A rat scurries. They go scurrying back for their little hole as fast as they can, or they try to give in to the people. And if that don't work, then they try to use authoritarianism as a technique to try to suppress the people. And if that don't work, ultimately the people have the power in the end. It's just that if they use violence against the people, then the people, I mean, are going to react back to that. You know, it just shows what the politicians are really like in the end, you know, that they're a bunch of dirty little rats. Them and the little porker buddies, the little pig bankers. Anyway, I shouldn't get upset about it, you know, but I mean, this is just the way it is. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.